Kraft Mac and Cheese is better than 90s hip-hop. We'll remind you of your childhood without making you feel incredibly old. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
No one goes to Hank's for his spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
Spring just hits different. One day, cold mud. The next, warm sunshine. But the hard-working men and women in Carhartt don't wait for the forecast to get to work. Patching roads, clearing trails, planting crops. Their hands turn this season's uncertainty into possibility. So get out there, spring into action. We've got you covered for whatever the season throws your way. Carhartt, made possible.
What's happening, people? You're about to watch episode 2 of The Presenters. My guest this week is a very good friend of mine, a man that I've looked up to for so many years, the great Adam Catterall. Now, you guys will know him from Fight Disciples, TalkSport, TNT Sports, and other outlets. He covers boxing, MMA, and football, and I think he's one of the very best in the business. Now, the aim of these shows is to show you guys how to get into the industry. I get so many messages from people saying, Ade, how did you get in? How can we get in? So I thought, why not sit down with people in the industry and they can tell you their stories and show you that there's more than one way to get in. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Look, guys, if you like this type of content, leave a comment, share, like, all that good stuff. And also let me know, who would you like me to sit down with, talk about their journey. Anyway, sit back, enjoy it. This is Presenters with Adam Catterall.
Do I do this and make a few quid and, maybe have a job for whatever period of time that is? Or do you try and rage against the machine a little bit, which kind of is never going to work, as I've found as I found in this game. And he said, Absolute Radio, I want to see you. And I went, I told you, I don't want to do music radio. He goes, it's not music radio, mate. I said, go and see Absolute Radio. So I went to go and see Absolute Radio. And they said, do you want to do rock and roll football? Saturday afternoon with Ian Wright. He must have been testing me, because he completely out of the blue, he phoned me and he went, what are you doing New Year's Day? New Year's Day, right? And I'm thinking, family and things like that. He goes, do you want to shut off radio? Yeah. This is not A to B. Yeah. This is zigzagged all the way, right? Yeah. So,
how are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. Start of a new year. Exciting year for the game that we play. Mm-hmm. And I think 2026 could be a big one.
I feel like I'm going to go backwards and forwards all over this place, because you said the game that we play, and I just mentioned it. You play boxing, football, and MMA.
Yeah.
Which is rare, because you get respect from people in boxing, football, and MMA. I almost feel like anytime people in MMA talk boxing, they stick to MMA. Yeah. Anytime people in
I still get it.
Yeah, you still do. But how have you navigated all that though, Adam? Because that is difficult to navigate, I think.
I think just through authenticity, just trying to tell the truth as much as you possibly can. You're never going to please everybody, mate. And once you accept that you're not going to please everybody, then you can get on with doing the job that you want to do. And if you do it in an authentic way, I think people respect that. They don't have to agree with everything that you say or like the things that you do. And staying consistent, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you see a lot of people flipping and changing their thought processes along their journey, and therefore that confuses the audience, I think if you can stay consistent with the message that you're putting out there, then people respect that. Like I said, they don't have to agree with what you're doing, but they just have to, I suppose, understand what you're trying to achieve. And hopefully I've done that.
And consistency, is it cost you work? Has it cost you?
Massively, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have you not had that sort of conversation in your brain where, I still want to do this, but ultimately, as you say, I want to stay consistent with what my beliefs are, but then you've lost work because of it, no?
Massively.
Okay.
If we're talking just purely on boxing, for example, maybe less so now, but definitely over the last 5 to 10 years, you had promoters that are affiliated with particular channels, and you might then get into bed with them because there's an opportunity there, and then you realise that maybe your message is being diluted because it's not necessarily on the same page as what the promoter wants to go through the channel and things like that. So therefore, you've got to make a decision. You've got to think to yourself, do I do this and make a few quid and, maybe have a job for whatever period of time that is? Or do you try and rage against the machine a little bit, which kind of is never going to work, as I've found, as I've found in this game? Or do you, play the longer game? And I've just decided to play the longer game, and hopefully in 10 years I could still be coming on shows like yours, mate, to talk about my career still pumping away. Fingers crossed that's the case.
I'm sure it will. All right, let's go back. How did you get into this? Like, was this always the dream? I feel like most people in the sports journalism world of what we do are kind of failed sports people who would prefer to have been playing it and that would have been their career. But this is, without doubt, the second best job in the sports arena, I think, doing what we do. How did you get into it?
You've just touched a nerve there.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was never elite at any sport, but I was good at a lot. So I used to play football, I used to play cricket, swam, martial arts, all those types of things, and could hang with some good kids, but never the elite kids. And
that's hard to admit, isn't it? It took me years to admit that, by the way.
Do you know, like now, obviously we're in a position where we do radio programs with former athletes and what have you, right? And you get invited every now and again to come and play a game of footy with them, which is brilliant. So you think to yourself, won a shoulder today. And then in 2 minutes you're thinking, this is the reason I was never a pro. Yeah. Because he's 60 and still running rings around me, you know what I mean? Absolutely wild, mate. Yeah. So I came to the conclusion that I was never going to be a pro athlete in and around 14, 15 years of age. But I always had a love for performance. This is going to sound really weird. I was labelled at school as like that class clown, one that would always be shouting out in class, having a little bit of a joke with the teacher, having a bit of a crack and making my mates laugh. And I got a buzz off that. I got a buzz off the reaction of people in the classroom seeing me say something slightly amusing for a 14-year-old lad and getting that attention. I got addicted to that feeling. And I was lucky along that way because I had some teachers that absolutely despised that and booted me out of the class, but I also had some that could see maybe a little bit of potential and started to nurture certain things. And one in particular was an English teacher called Mrs. Taylor at St. Bede's High School in Blackburn.
I love that. I love how we always remember the teachers'
absolutely.
names. My best teacher was Miss Sir Brian. Yeah. And I would always remember. If I see her now, it would be, "Hi, Mrs. Sir Brian." It would never be like her first name. It was always the respect.
Yeah.
And still no matter how old I get, I'll see them. It'll be that,
Still now. And she took me from a student that was probably borderline CD at that time. And I got A and A stars in her class, and it was English, this is. So therefore, she was absolutely fantastic at being able to manage me and my energy, but she was also fantastic at engaging me in the art of language and the art of conversation, the art of communication, all those types of things, which I completely fell in love with. So off the back of doing okay at school, but really well in English, went on to go and do some A-levels. And I fell really lucky because the college that I went to had its own radio station within the college. And I decided I'm going to do media because in and around 15, 16 years of age, Chris Evans was booming. He was doing TFI Friday. He was doing BBC Radio 1 breakfast show, which he only did for 9 months, by the way.
That's crazy because it feels like he's done it for years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I remember at that time I was consumed by this different type of media presentation from him. And I thought, I want to do what that guy did.
Big breakfast as well. Years before that,
mate, I want to do what that guy's doing. This is you can't get paid for that. That's absolutely tremendous. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And when I went to college, we had this radio station, and that was it. Fell in love with it. I skipped class, failed A-levels because I was in that studio just honing the craft. And my mum realised that I wasn't going to pass my A-levels and go on to university and all this. So she then wrote to hospital radio on my behalf. Yeah. And said, "Is there anything there? Can he do stuff extracurricular to come?" So I went, and anybody that's ever done hospital radio will tell you that you are playing golden oldie tunes for the old dears that are obviously sadly in hospital. But it gives them a little bit of comfort with the things that they're hearing. They can put the requests in, but also it helped me then learn the craft of trying to present radio shows. So that was the start. And I always wanted to then just be a radio presenter. That was it.
Not sports.
At the start, it was never... This is going to sound really arrogant with what I'm about to say this, and maybe you resonate with this, right? talking about sports is easy.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yeah.
I've done it all my life with my mates in the pub, on the football terraces, in the boxing arenas. I've watched that much of it. I find it easy. That's not a job to me. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm cheating life if I'm going to go and chase talking about sports for the rest of my life and blag that someone's going to pay me to do it. So I went in my head, I'm thinking, well, I love music, so I'm going to do music radio presentation with a bit of comedy in there and all that type of thing. And I thought that would be a proper job.
Yeah.
So to speak. So at the start, no, sport was never the focus. It was always a case of, I want to do what Chris Evans is doing. So I want to get to Radio 1. That's what I wanted to do. And then at 18, in and around that time, obviously my A-levels finished. I'm not going to university. My mum goes, what are you doing? Go and get yourself a proper job, sunshine.
I hate that question conversation. That conversation led me to being kicked out of the house.
Oh, mate, I've had a few of them. Yeah. So that conversation then led my mum, again, getting me a job selling steel.
Bloody hell.
I know, mate. So I went to go work. Well, Jack Walker, Blackburn, Walker Steel, went to go and work for his company. Yeah. Selling, right? So I'm in the sales office at 18 years of age. I'm making brews, really, but every now and again I'll be doing a bit of selling at 18. And at the same time, my uncle, in his local pub, came across a mobile DJ doing like the discos and stuff like that. I said, my nephew would be wicked at this.
This is great. This is fascinating, this story so far.
Right,
because it shows there's so many ways to skin a cat here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is, sorry to interrupt you.
I'm telling you now, right? Yeah. This is not A to B. Yeah. This is zigzagged all the way, right? Yeah. So he speaks to this mobile DJ. He goes, well, to be fair, we need an extra pair of hands lugging stuff around. He can come and give us a lift, right? There's my card, tell him to give us a ring. Day after, I ring to this fella and he says, come out with me tonight. We're doing such a 30th birthday, let's say, at this cricket club. You can come and give us a lift. We'll pick you up. Right, no worries. So it comes along. There's me, this lad who's the DJ who's like 30 odd years of age, and another young helper, right? Anyway, it gets into this environment. I'm thinking, this is it. This is what I'm going to do, man. Look at this. Dance floor full of hot women. Brilliant, right? Banging out some tunes. Everybody's looking this way. This is the adoration that I'm after. Tremendous. Let's get cracking. That was it. Went home, told my mum. And God bless them, right? They were saving some cash that they've been saving up all my life. And they said, it's going to mature when you're 21 and we're going to give it you then. We'll give it you now so you can buy this DJ equipment. Brilliant.
That's wonderful.
So that's what I did. Yeah. So I bought the decks, the mixer, the amplifier, the speakers, the full microphone, the crack and what have you. And then this guy literally got me gigs in and around Blackburn. And mate.
That's what you were doing. So that was the peak of you think you cracked it in terms of what you want to do in life?
I think, listen, I'm getting paid cash in hand.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm out.
In a brown envelope?
Well, you know what I mean? There were an odd one every now and again. But Friday night, Saturday night, that's how it started. And then next thing you know, I'm doing a Thursday night, I'm doing a Sunday night, I'm doing a Wednesday. I'm out 5 nights a week, as well as working this steel job because my mum still thinks that's a fake job, what you're doing at night, sunshine. But you've got to work during the day. So that was my life. 18, 19 years of age, 20 years of age. And then in and around that time, a couple of club owners and pub owners in and around Blackburn then said, can you play this style of music? Can you come and do this? Can you come and do that? So I started getting a few residencies in and around Blackburn.
Jeez.
Right? And then the big one came where I became resident at Gatecrasher.
Is that like a big club?
Yeah, in Sheffield. So Gatecrasher was a massive trance club in and around that time. And they had different nights on. So I was playing the Friday night, which was more of a house night. But every now and again, I'd play the hip-hop room and things like that. And that was it. I thought, mate, I am absolutely like a pig in shit. This is absolutely tremendous. Crack life. But in the back of my head, I always thought, I really want to be a radio presenter, man. I don't know how to get in. I had all this equipment at home, so I started making tapes and I started pretending to do radio shows and what have you. And I was sending them off to all these stations. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then randomly, just completely out of the blue, my mate rang me up and he said, put the radio on now. Quickly, put the radio on now. And it was our local radio station, puts it on, and they are advertising for the next big thing. Think pop idol, Ade. Here we go, sunshine, right? They're advertising for this next big thing, and I'm thinking, I could win that. I could win that easy. If it's sitting in a radio studio doing radio shows, I will absolutely walk it. I'm better than half the talent that's on the station, so get me in there. Cocky boy, right? So I applied for it, got a letter back, come down for this audition. Brilliant. And this is Rock FM in Preston, right? Which is similar to what's down here in London. Kiss FM.
Yeah, it's big. That's pretty big.
But it's the same network. I mean, Rock FM's not as big as Kiss, but it's that same network, right? So I goes to this audition. Turns up, and they've got this stage in the car park, right? Massive stage in the car park. There's hundreds of people in this car park. I'm thinking, it's crack here.
All come for auditions.
I didn't know that at the time, mate.
Okay.
I walked to the reception to check in. I thought they were a band on or something that they were recording or something. Okay, yeah. We've got your name. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Take your position in the queue. Jeez. And I went, what? Eh? Went outside. There were people everywhere, mate. I'm thinking, what is going on here? What have I got to do? This girl then comes out, briefs everybody, said, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, one by one, you're all going to go on stage. You've got 1 minute, entertain the crowd. There was no briefing beforehand of what you had to do. Yeah. And it was going alphabetical order. Right, where's Adam Catterall? First. So I've no gauge, I've no barometer to look at and think, right, I'll just do what he's done or I'll twist that. He goes, right, you're up first, go on, sunshine, crack on. And I went, oh my God. So I've got on stage, all these eyes looking at me, full of the radio presenters from the station and all this type of stuff. And luckily, the last couple of years of doing these mobile discos and all this type of stuff just kicked in. And then I done it. I couldn't even tell you what I did. I just did whatever I did. And they picked, from, let's say there were 100 people there, they picked 4 people. So there were me and 3 others. But the role wasn't to be on the radio.
What was it?
The role was to be part of the street team, right? Handing out flyers and all this mad stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I've completely wasted my time here. This is ridiculous. And I just thought, right, I'm in the door now. I'm in the building.
Yeah.
So
that's the most important thing.
I'm going to put up with this unpaid situation and I'm going to give it 12 months. And if I can't get under the nose of whoever's in control of this station within 12 months, then obviously I'll have to look at something else. But in 12 months, I backed myself to be able to make enough pals and, make enough relationships to then get some studio time access, to make what I needed to make, to convince someone, go on, give us a chance, you know what I mean? If such and such your body's off, put me on weekends or overnight or whatever it may be. This went on for about 18 months of me nagging this dude. And God bless him, a guy called Brian Page, he's no longer with us, but he was the person that ended up putting me on the radio. And I must have given him 7 demos, right? Between 7 and 10 demos. I remember putting the first one and thinking, that is the bollocks. And he went, yeah, it's all right, do me another one. And I'm like, heartbroken. Yeah. And he went on and on and on and on. And then I got a phone call just completely out the blue. And he must have been testing me because he completely out the blue, he phoned me and he went, what are you doing New Year's Day? New Year's Day, right? And I'm thinking, family and things like that. He goes, do you want your shot on radio? And I went, yeah. What time? He goes, breakfast. 6 o'clock in the morning.
Brutal.
10 o'clock, New Year's Day. Said yes straight away, put the phone down and I went, hang on. I'm DJing at Gatecrasher.
Yeah, that means yeah.
New Year's Eve's massive, man. It's the biggest night of my year. I'm going to have to phone him back. And then as I'm dialing the number, I went, do not phone him back. Just figure it out, mate.
Yeah.
You figure out whatever it is that you need to figure out.
You get chances. I always say that. I get, again, loads of young people reach out to me and I always say, you will get a chance.
Yeah.
You just have to take that chance.
It's how you react to the moment.
Yes.
That's all it is. And I didn't tell him anything, didn't phone him. I then had to speak to certain other DJs that were scheduled to. I said, listen, can I do your slot? I'll do the early one. He goes, why do you want to do the early one? You've got a decent one straight after such your body at 2 o'clock in the morning, man. It's going to be absolutely booming. I said, listen, I need to go from Sheffield to Preston like that. And I need to be back ready for this radio show to rock and roll. So I managed to manipulate whatever was going on at Gatecrasher, got back for the show, did the show, one off. It was only one show that he promised me. And then nothing. And I'm like, absolutely gutted. How
long from the nothing though? Like what are you talking?
So that was New Year's Day,
Yeah.
right? I got a phone call the week after from his deputy, basically saying, I've listened back to it. Yeah, there's some strengths. Thanks for filling in first and foremost. Some strengths, really good, very raw. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, I hate that. Hate that.
Right, okay, mate, sound.
Yeah.
Then, again, completely out the blue, this is April, so I've gone 3 months now with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
April, can you cover overnights for 2 weeks? And I went, this is the one.
Yeah.
Now I've got to run.
Yeah.
So it were Monday to Friday 5, so I got the weekends off. I thought, right, this is it. So I cancelled all my DJ gigs and everything like that. I'm going to give you everything I've got. And this was 2 till 6 in the morning for 2 weeks straight.
How old were you at the time?
24.
Okay.
Yeah, 24.
So it's still very young in this industry.
Mate, I've never been trained.
Yeah.
I'm just cracking on.
It's raw.
Yeah. So I did these shows 2 weeks, right? This 2 week finishes. And this was my first lesson of this industry. I got again, another phone call. Can you come in on the Monday? Thinking, well, I think I've done all right. I ain't done anything daft. Sits in this office. He goes, do you want the job? And I went, I beg your pardon, what? He goes, we think you're better than the guy that went on holiday. And I went, right. He goes, do you want the job? And I went, yes, I want the job. He goes, right, sound, done, clear off. Sack the guy. So that was my first real showing of how ruthless this game is. So he didn't get his contract renewed. He got binned off, and then I went in to do his show on the overnights. I did it for 2 months, and then the guy on the evenings went on holiday, and I got the phone call. Can you cover that for 2 weeks? Yeah, no worries. Same thing, mate. I did it for 2 weeks. Got a call Monday. Got brought in, and he went, "Do you want his show?" And I went, "Yeah, I do." I do want.
You've got to say it, haven't you?
I said, yeah, I do want
It's
his
dog eat dog industry.
I said, yeah, I do want his show. He goes, right, he's gone. He sacked him. So then I did that for 1 full year on the evening show, and I built it. And it was in and around the 2006 World Cup. So I had, they gave me free rent. I didn't have a producer, just me. I said, I think you should be really tapping into like footy at 7 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? With World Cup especially. And I made loads of contacts with the Football Museum in Manchester, who then put me in contact with different footballers that could be on the show, like John Barnes were on it and all these types. It was brilliant, really good, wicked show. Again, this is going to sound like I'm being a cocky fucker, but the evening show, 7 till 10, overtook, listener-wise, the breakfast show in the schedule. Right, so...
Was that your first foray into sports?
It was the first time I put sports on the radio. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it was still a music radio show, but and then I just did the World Cup, and then I went back to music radio, and I was doing whatever I was doing. But the radar, as they say, the listening figures went through the roof. And then the breakfast show was in trouble across the group. And they got rid of the breakfast show guy, and they put an interim in there and what have you. And then our management changed in order to sort this breakfast thing out. So my manager the guy that put me on the radio got binned off, and they brought in all these new people. And I was like, people kept saying to me, he goes, he's not going to like you. You're not like this, and this new guy. He's going to come in and he's going to do this, and you might be in a bit of trouble here, Adam. And I'm like, okay. All right, sound. He came in when I was on holiday. I came back and had this meeting with the new manager. And he went, how have you managed to get more listeners on evenings than there is on breakfast? And I said, well, I speak to people rather than at them. And he went, ooh. And he looked at me. And he went,
I might steal that one.
He went, what do you mean? He goes, well, they speak at everybody. I speak to them. And he went, do you want breakfast? And I went, let's go. So that was it. And then he put me on breakfast, and I did the breakfast show for 3.5 years, and that's when it just went off, mate. Within 6 months, I won an Arkiva for Commercial Radio Presenter of the Year. I was nominated for Academy Awards, Radio Academy Awards, and what have you. It just went off. And I took that breakfast show, and I say listen, I had an unbelievable producer, a lad from New Zealand called Dean O'Brien, who taught me more about presenting than I've ever known. I was a raw guy going into that breakfast show.
I say the same thing about me and Jeremy Fulham.
Right.
I'm like, Jeremy, when I came to TalkSport 2, was so evil to me. But
we have fights, man.
Yeah. To the point where sometimes I would pray to God he was going to call in sick. Like, I'd get to the office before him. I'm like, Jeremy's not here. Is he sick? And every time now, whether I be up for an award or anything, I always say Jeremy Fulham.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually looking for him. Is Jeremy here? Jeremy Fulham, because those type of guys, they were kind of unseen and don't really have voices, are so important in terms of crafting someone like us.
Mate, he was an arsehole with me. Proper. Stop saying that.
Yeah.
You're saying too many words, self-edit. And he would sit me in rooms sometimes after recording the show in the morning. And he goes, right, listen to this link. And I'd listen to the link and cringe a little bit. And then he'd go, right, what's what I'm going to do now? And he would take out all the unnecessary words. So I rambled for three minutes, right? And he'd get down to 30 seconds. He goes, listen to it, bang. Did you say the same thing in 30 seconds that you said in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. He goes, do that live. And it was just, that was the process, constantly trying to get to that process of being able to speak in those sound bites and be efficient with my language and all those things. And like I said, without him sculpting me, that journey of that 3.5 years wouldn't have been as successful as it was. But I also had really good co-presentation team, different people coming in that were self-deprecating, would allow me to be me, I'd allow them to be that. It was a really good environment to be working in and creating content.
How comfortable, sorry to cut across, how comfortable were you in being you straight away? Like, I'm going to be Adam Catterall. I'm not going to try and copy who I've seen that has been the flavour of the month or the flavour of the decade. I'm just going to come in and be myself, and that's going to get me through the door. How comfortable were you?
Very, very comfortable, but I was conscious, right? Because at that time of me breaking through and being on the radio, the biggest things in popular culture were people like Peter Kay and like Vernon was on Radio 1. There was a lot of northern voices, bloke voices, doing really well. But they were just like my uncles, or that was just like me mate's dad. That's all they were. But everybody else is like going, oh, there was a lot of noise at that time when I was breaking through going, he's just trying to be Peter Kay. No, I'm not. This is who I am. Peter Kay is just like me. That's just the way we are up here. It's just that he's obviously on a massive, massive platform, and anything that comes behind it, then they go, well, you're just trying to copy that.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is who I am. So I was always really confident of just being me, being authentic, speaking to the audience as I would do anybody. But I was always conscious of, right, these guys that are absolutely gigantic from my area, I've just got to be on it with not trying to look like I'm doing that. So yeah, that's where my head was at in and around that particular time of breaking on, learning and sculpting. And you've probably had this as well. When you get that amount of success relatively quickly, job offers come in like madman, and the amount of bigger stations that wanted me to come and work for them and go and do shows for them was crazy. And at certain points, maybe my ego did run away with me a little bit, and I went for meetings and had some conversations. But I always came back to the fact, and again, this comes back down to Dean and having proper conversations with him. He was far more experienced than me at the time, and he went, "You're not ready."
Really?
And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not ready? He goes, listen, I'm telling you now, right? He said, you do the full contract with me that you've signed up for these 3 years. You do this with me, then you'll be ready. I promise you. So the world will be your oyster. You can crack on. If you go now, I don't know who you're going to be working with. If you go now, you might end up down this rabbit hole, or you might end up down this rabbit hole. Stick to the plan. Let's get this program from, I think at the time we took it, it was like number 6 in the marketplace. If we can get it as close as we possibly can to number 1, because we're up against Radio 2, so that's tough. But if we can get it as close as you possibly can, the ground's done, man. You'll never have to look back.
That's so invaluable, that is, because, again, not to bring it back to myself, but me on TalkSport 2 with Jeremy, remember when I first got that TalkSport 2 gig, I was over the moon. I was like, what?
5 days a week, and they said the amount of money, and I started calculating, like, bloody hell, like, red panty time, like, we've done it. I stayed on TalkSport 2 for, might have been like 3 years. And I'm watching everyone going to TalkSport. And I'm like, no one really knows TalkSport 2, by the way, do they? When they think TalkSport, they don't think TalkSport 2. It doesn't even register, unless you're a hardcore cricket or football or rugby fan, where sometimes you'll listen to TalkSport 2. So I used to look at people going to TalkSport, and I used to be like a bit jealous of it all. And I'm like, when am I going to get over? And Jeremy, kind of like your guy said, bit more over here. Minutes on the pitch.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. No one's really listening that much, so you can do whatever you need to do, but you're not quite ready. And I used to take that sometimes, going on thinking he thinks I'm shit. Yeah. But ultimately, he was right. Yeah. To the point then, when I do go on TalkSport, I'm so comfortable. I'm like, let's go. I'm not nervous. I'm not like, I'm ready to go. And I think, similar to your guy saying, just stay for a bit. And sometimes you feel like they're holding you back, but ultimately they're wanting your best version to be out there. And that's what Jeremy did with me. My best version.
Yeah, man. It's the best thing that I ever did, because, like I said, those opportunities did come along. There was good money on the table. But
sport opportunities, or just...
no, all music radio at that time. All music radio at that time. But that grounding, the people that, like I said, the environment that I was working in then allowed me to be me and find me and of what I wanted to be as the type of presenter that I wanted to be.
So you're behind the scenes then. Are you like actively just watching loads of sport though? Obviously you're doing music radio, but are you obsessed with what's going on in boxing, the birth of MMA with bloody Pride and Bellator and Strike? Are you like listening to all that in the background?
Yeah. So
here we go, lads. So this is what you come for.
So regarding sport, right. MMA, for example. Me and Michael Bisping grew up in the same town, right?
Okay.
So
I've always wondered about that relationship.
He's next door to me. He's in Clitheroe.
So you've known him for a long time?
I've known of him, right?
Okay, yeah.
For a long time. He also DJ'd in nightclubs. So our paths crossed in the DJ circle through friends that were better than me at martial arts that were competing at a higher level. They competed against him. So I'd go to tournaments and he'd be there kicking everybody's ass, you know what I mean? And all that. Yeah. So those paths constantly intertwined throughout our being kids and what have you. And obviously around this time that I'm talking, Mike is going on The Ultimate Fighter. He's winning The Ultimate Fighter. He's now in the UFC. So I'm like going, well, he's one of us. Yeah, he's one of the lads. Yeah. So I'm following that journey. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm doing what I'm doing. But as a fan,
I'm
watching the UFC through Mike, and then I'm, becoming familiar with Anderson Silva and all these other characters.
Chuck
right?
Liddell, all these,
right? So that's that time. In the world of boxing, I was lucky. I had a lot of mates that were banging into it, and Ricky was flying, man.
Yeah.
So that it's
almost there. I always felt like boxing didn't need to be forced upon you back then. Because we had superstars like that just transcended, like casual fans. Everyone knew, like Ricky.
Well, listen, I was a football goer, so I used to go to the football all the time, right?
City or Blackburn?
I was going Blackburn. I was a Blackburn season ticket holder. City only came since moving to Manchester and having my kids, right? But Blackburn season ticket holder, odd away game, and that was then reciprocated with what Ricky was doing. Everybody talks about like Josh Warrington now and Lee Wood now and those football feels to these fights, right? Ricky was doing that. Yeah. That's what Ricky Hatton fights was. It was a football fan in the crowd, having a few beers, having a bit of a laugh. It's a night out. Right, Ricky's on now. Shut up for 10 minutes. Let him nail somebody, and then we're all off downtown. And that's what me and my mates used to do. Yeah. We used to go to the Ricky Hatton fights. So that was my connection, really, with boxing at that time when I was trying to build my own career. And obviously, I was just the football going fan. I wasn't working in the industry or anything.
Did you ever, so what age were you when... So you're mid to late 20s, still doing music radio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there ever a thought in your head, okay, this is gonna cross over and turn into sports radio, or I'm gonna be a sports broadcaster? When does that conversation happen with yourself?
Right, it was forced upon me a little bit.
Okay.
So at the end of that contract that I was just talking about with Rock FM, right? I finished, won countless awards, taken the show from number 6. We're at number 2, right? More listeners than Chris Moyles, just letting you know.
Yeah.
So we're at that point.
That is massive, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you kind of played it off.
There's only Terry Wogan that beat me in the northwest of
Chris
England.
Moyles, beating Chris Moyles is like DJ God.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So my contract came to an end, and there was a period of time where we were trying to negotiate. I said trying to negotiate. I knew I was going. So in the January, my contract's up in the May. January, they come to me and say, right, we want to renegotiate your contract. We want to sign you for another period of time. Everything's going really well. We want to go in this direction. And I said, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not signing the contract. The reason why I didn't sign that contract is for a year previous to that, I'd started conversations with Radio 1, right? And Radio 1 said to me, under no circumstances are we taking you from commercial radio. We've got a bit of a bad reputation at the moment from taking presenters from commercial radio and sticking them on Radio 1. What we're going to do now, we're going to look for our talent elsewhere. So we're going to take them from T4. We're going to take them from university. We're going to so people like Greg James benefited from that, and they came through university and what have you. So they weren't taking people out of commercial radio because they got a bad rap with the JK and Joel thing. They went from Key 103, and they were massive at Key 103. Then they went to Radio 1, and then the industry complained. So they changed their attitude. So I got told, we're not taking you. We like you, we want you, but we're not taking you. So in my head, then I thought, well, I'll take that problem out of the way then. I'll leave commercial radio. They never promised me a job, did Radio 1. I just went, I'll leave commercial radio. So that's what I was doing. So
it's a bloody gamble, that.
So I told them in the January, I'm not re-signing the contract. I didn't tell anybody why. I just said, I want to try some new stuff. So I'm not re-signing. Everybody thought I was bluffing. Everybody thought it was just a ploy for more dough, all this. We get to May, and my contract's up. On my last day was actually my birthday, right? So my last day, I've done the show, finished it. I've said bye-bye to the audience. Thank you very much, everybody. Superb. Goes upstairs, gets me flowers off everybody and what have you. The guy who's in control of the station said, can I just have a word with you before you go? I said, yeah. Goes in, he goes, how much? And I went, what do you mean? He goes, I need you to stay. How much? Do you want me to double it? I said, it ain't about the door. I promise you it's not about the door. This is about me fulfilling what I believe I can fulfill. I said, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate everything that I've ever had here, right? But I'm now ready to take what I've learned here to see if I can go and be what I think I can go and become. Mm-hmm. And I walked out, went home, obviously had a little bit of a dinner with my family and what have you. And I told my mum about that story. She went, yeah, bloody idiot, what are you talking about? You could have sorted this out. You could have sorted it. And I said, listen, it's not about that, Mum. Don't worry about it. Anyway, now I'm unemployed, no job. I've stopped DJing in nightclubs because I've been all in on my radio stuff. This is it now. So I goes on a little summer holiday, comes back, I think, right, what am I going to do? Phone call's not come from Radio 1 yet. What's going on here? So I had an agent at the time, and I just said, listen, man, you're just going to have to get me whatever you can get me, whether it's voiceover work or all these bits. Just get me whatever, just to pay my bills whilst Radio 1 figure this out. 3 months. 6 months. I'm thinking, mate, this is bad. I've messed up here. And then at 6 months, a radio station in Sheffield phoned me, and they said, can you come and cover some breakfast? I said, that'll be all right if I just cover breakfast, that's fine. So I went and covered this breakfast show. Covered the breakfast show, same thing happened again. So the program controller called me and he said, listen, we've got a vacancy on Drive. Do you want the Drive show? Good money, big city, new. I'm thinking, could do with a door, man.
Are you not thinking Radio 1 though? Is
yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, if I take this, I can't get Radio 1 done.
If I take it, I'm shutting it down, right? So I took listen, let me think about it. I took a breath. And I didn't really need to think about it that much. I got in the car, I started driving home, and I went, I'll phone him now. I said, listen, I'm not going to take it. I said, I've got this dream. I need to know. And if I take the job, I'm shutting it down. I need them to shut it down before I move on. He went, listen, all the best. Fair play to you, pal. No problem. So this then ticks into the next year, right? And I'm doing all these voiceovers. I've not done any more radio at all. I've been off the radio for the best part of a year. And then I remember it. I was on a Virgin train at the time. It's now Avanti, innit? I was on a Virgin train coming from Manchester to London. I was on my way to a voiceover. My phone rang, my agent, and I went, oh, right, okay. hi mate. And it were horrible because it were intermittent. I'm on a train.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Radio 1. And I went, say that again. And I went, just text it me.
Yeah.
And then he texted me. He goes, and he sent me 2 dates. He sent me the time. He goes, you're on Radio 1. You did it.
Bloody hell.
So they offered me 2 days cover over a bank holiday weekend. One on the Friday, one on the Monday. I did bank holiday Friday, bank holiday Monday. It was the weekend, actually, that Prince William married Kate. That was the weekend. So I went in and did cover there. Shows went well. And then I thought to myself, after that Monday, right, they're going to phone me Tuesday and they're going to offer me a job. Great. Nothing came. So I'm phoning my agent every day going, what's going on? I said, listen, chill, right? Everything's all right. I've had the conversation. Everything's fine. No problem. Then more cover came in. And then they went, do you want early breakfast? So I started doing early breakfast the show before Moyle. So I did 4 days or 5 days a week. I think I was on 4 days a week during the week. Absolutely brilliant. So I did a year of that. I'm having a whale of a time thinking, I'm here. Everything's paid off. Everything I said that was going to happen is happening.
Yeah.
We're moving through the schedule. I'm having all these brilliant positive conversations with management. Great. Yeah, I'm starting to cover different time slots and all this. Woohoo! Great stuff, mate. Then, management change at Radio 1. Now, Radio 1 at the time was sounding a lot like Radio 2.
Yeah.
So they needed to take Radio 1's age demographic listenership down back towards teenagers and keep Radio 2 where it was at. And what they did, or what they pitched to the trust was, well, we'll just reduce the age of the presenters and that'll obviously attract younger people and blah, 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 blah. As I said before, they're not taking people from commercial, they're taking them out of university, they're taking them from T4, all this. So that was the time when Chris Moyles' time came to an end. Vernon's time came to an end. I think Joe Wiley moved. The only person that stayed of an age was Scott Mills. So I'd been promised certain shows along the way. And I remember I sat down with the bosses then and they went, listen, Adam, I just turned 30. And they went, we can't fulfill the things that we were saying that we were going to do. We're not going to put you through the schedule. We're going in a different direction.
That's the ruthless side of broadcasting.
Yeah, man. So it was happening to me now.
Yeah.
It was happening to me at the other end. But one thing that they did do, which I thought was really sound of them, was we'll give you an extended period of time. So you stay on the show that you're doing, you're still getting paid, you're not going now. But when you tell us you want to go in this allotted time, I think it was about 6 months, you can go whenever you want. But we will honour 6 months.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
So if something comes in 3 months, you can
so
go.
if you phone somebody up now, mate, and they want you and you want to go, you can go now if you want, no problem whatsoever. I'm not going to keep you to any contract, you can go. But this is our promise. For the next 6 months, you've got a job here. After that 6 months, then we'll have to move you on. So I went, okay, cool. Obviously devastated, gutted about it, angry, raging a little bit, and then got my head on and I said, right, okay, what are we going to do? And the lucky thing for me is that was 2012, the year of the Olympics, right?
The big one.
Yes. So there were loads of opportunities for presenting at the Olympics that were popping up and around. And my agent came to me and he said, mate, we've got this, and this. Do you want to get involved with it? You might as well. Everything's happening over here with Radio 1. Loads of opportunities now in the summer. You never know where this is going to lead. And I went, yeah, all right. Show me the list of what's available. So he showed me all these different presentation opportunities. And I just pointed at it and I went, I want to be at the XL and I want to be around that boxing. And he went, right, okay, no problem, I'll pitch it. So they pitched it to this broadcast company that was doing all the in-house presentation. They come back and went, we've already allocated the boxing people. There's a couple of slots if you want them, but we can fatten out your schedule by putting you in different sports.
Yeah.
And I said, sound man. I said, just put me in. I'll take all the boxing slots that are available, and I'll do whatever's available at the XL. So they based me at the XL. So I did a tiny bit of boxing. I did table tennis, judo, weightlifting.
Jesus.
Mate, you try and pronounce all them Asian names on the table tennis, man. It was tough.
Difficult.
So
I had that at the pool. I did the World Pool Championships and had all the Filipino names.
it's horrible.
And obviously, to see that, well, we know Manny Pacquiao is Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that unless you have followed Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Like, I had names like that, and I was like, I can't pronounce these.
Yeah, I was terrified of getting them all wrong in the stadium and all this. So luckily, I worked with someone that was wicked on the presentation. So anyway, I did that at the Excel. And it was the greatest experience. Anybody that was around the 2012 Olympics absolutely knows. Obviously, AJ did his thing in boxing. Nicola Adams was flying as well from the female point of view. We had Luke Campbell, we had Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas fight. We had all that. But as well as that, I did all these other sports. Kayla Harrison from the world of MMA, who's now the champion in the UFC. So I did her judo, got first gold medal, which is mad. And obviously table tennis, weightlifting, all this type of thing. Anyway, finished. And they then asked me to come back and do the Paralympics, which was brilliant. Did that as well. And then once that finished, I was going on holiday with my wife. And I said to my agent, I said, listen, when I get back off this plane from this holiday, I'm not going back to Radio 1. He went, we've got another couple of months. I said, I'm not going back. I said, your job now over the next 2 weeks is go and find me a job in sport.
Hey, that was what did it.
I said, go and find me a job in sport.
Okay.
This is it now. So then I cleared off on holiday. I came back, switched my phone on, and at the time in London, Absolute Radio had been trying to sign me for ages, but more music-based. And he said, Absolute Radio, I want to see you. And I went, I told you, I don't want to do music radio. He goes, it's not music radio, mate. I said, go and see Absolute Radio. So I went to go and see Absolute Radio. And they said, do you want to do rock and roll football? Saturday afternoon with Ian Wright.
Fucking hell.
And I went, yeah. And he went, we can only offer you 1 day a week. So bear in mind, I'm on 5 days a week over at Radio 1. I can only offer you 1 day a week, but we'll divvy it up with music shifts. I said, I don't want to do music. I want to come out of it. He goes, but we can offer you this 1 day. So I said, I'm in. Spoke to my agent, said, just keep getting me voiceover work. I'm doing this show with Righty. Away we go. And I did 1 season, and then TalkSport called off the back of it, and that was it.
So, wait, you've been at TalkSport for how long then?
10 years.
10 years at TalkSport?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, man.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I just looked at the clock, the time's going. So I want to ask you these very,
Am I
very
boring
quickly.
you?
Then.
Sorry.
No, not at all. Of course, don't be silly. I wish I could do this for 2 hours. So you've done TNT or BT Sports, MMA, and boxing.
Yeah.
Did you do football with them?
Not on TNT, no.
No. DAZN boxing.
Yeah.
TalkSport, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one do you enjoy the most doing?
That's a really interesting question. I like interviewing people. It doesn't matter what the platform is. I like looking into somebody's eyes and getting the truth out of them.
That's hard though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've had some really difficult interviews. I've had some I think, you know,
because the interview's only ever as good as the subject.
Yeah, but me and you are quite similar in the sense that we both have YouTube channels that are watched by a lot of people, and we most certainly speak the truth a lot more than I do. And then when I've got to go and then interview said person, I'm like, oh, I know they've watched my fucking YouTube. And
but you should only say, and I know that you do this, you should only say something publicly that you're prepared to say something first. And if you can do that and you can back up what you've said, then that's okay to have an argument or not, or a disagreement, as long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
And listen, I've had many discussions with fighters that have been upset with certain things that I've said. But touch wood, it's always come back right. It might take a little bit of time, but it's always come back round to the point of, listen, they might not like me, but at least they think, well, hang on a minute, he does this with everybody. He's fair. He's not like he's picking on me, or he's. There's a fair system to it, and I would hope that there's a respect to that consistency with the things that they react to, you know.
Yeah. What's your best interview? Like, and I know you've done thousands, so sorry to put you on the spot, but is there one that springs to mind? Like, oh my God! Like I've seen when you've done the ones for the UFC, because these people are just so big. Like when I look at your sit downs with Dana White, which now have become normal, which must have been crazy first time round, or a Connor sit down, or any of those type of guys. surely those ones must be like legendary. Like, fucking Dana White's coming over. Here we go. Like, it must be like that. Especially with Dana. There was a period when I thought Dana was like as famous as any sports person on planet Earth. That there was a few years where you used to do the scrums and you think, my God, Dana's massive.
Do you know something? It's weird listening to you speak about it there. My head only goes to that place of, right, I'm feeling something here.
Yeah.
When it's a nostalgic conversation. So, for example, when I was a kid growing up, there's certain fighters that you're connected to and you feel certain things for, right? Nazim Ahmed. It's only people like that I go, right, this guy's Naz. This is Naz. Whereas now in like modern, I don't know now. I don't feel that now. It's weird.
Yeah, because we're now adults. You're right. Growing up, they seemed to be larger than life, these people.
Yeah.
And now that you sit with them, you just realize just a dude, same age as me.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's in my own head. I don't know. Maybe, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. And I hope that people actually take what I'm about to say as the way that I believe that you've got to behave. You've got to believe that you're on that level, if that makes sense. If you go into an interview, for example, it seems that we're talking about interviews. If you go into an interview and you are portraying the person that you are speaking to, you're portraying that there's a level between the two people that are actually sat down, right? This person's up here, me, I'm subservient, I'm down here, I'm pandering to you, right? That's not a conversation. Whereas I walk into the room and sit down with whoever I'm sitting down going, we're on the same level, man. Whether we are or we're not, or whether they see that or they don't see that, we're on the same level. That, I think, lends to a much better conversation or a much better watch or a much better listen for the audience than someone that is, intimidated in a way. Tiptoeing around it or intimidated by it or putting this person up here,
Yeah. As we wrap, and again, we could have gone on for hours. I do apologize. You've achieved so much, right? So much. Again, the awards, the accolades, the ability to cross over and talk about free sports and get respect talking about free sports. What do you want to do, Adam? Like, is there an end goal? Is there like I want to do this in 10 years, or do you just keep just doing what you're doing and whatever happens, happens?
No, I think at the start of 2025, I was conscious that I was getting away from the things that I enjoy and the things that I believe that I'm really good at. I think sometimes when you create products and those products become successful, then obviously more people come to that product and it becomes even more successful. Your element of control of the product then maybe diminishes a little bit and it can be taken in different directions that you don't necessarily want it to be taken in or didn't see that it was being taken in. It's still being successful, but you're now going off on a tangent over here thinking, well, hang on a minute, I don't really want to be doing this. Yeah. And I felt that for me was happening definitely over the 12 to 24 month period. So in 2025, I said, right, I'm going to be a selfish bugger again. This is me now. And I'm going to start saying no a lot more. And I'm going to start really focusing in on the things that make me happy. The things that make me happy are one-on-one interviews with elite athletes, whether they be fighters, whether they be footballers, whatever they are. If they've got a story, I want it. I want to sit down and have those conversations. So I made a big conscious effort of trying to do a lot more of that. And I also, and this is away from work, not every job's for me. You know what I mean? And you don't have to work every weekend. You don't have to, be away from your family and the people that you're asked about as much as you are. My kids are small. They're 12 and 9 years of age, right? When they get to 30, what's their memory of me going to be? Is it going to be, well, Dad were always away? I don't want that. So my conscious efforts were do more work that I'm asked about and spend more time with people that I'm asked about. And that's it.
Perfect way to end. Adam Catterall, again, I could speak to you for hours. I look up to you as where I want to be. And that's the
You are there.
No. In terms of you and Ariel Hawano, I look at as though these guys almost seem free. Like they've removed themselves from the matrix and are controlling their own controllables.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I'm having a tussle with that. Like my controllable is this, my YouTube channel. Everything else is very much not me in control. I'm enjoying it, but it's certainly not me in control. And I want more of the controllables. And yeah, that'll be a good thing.
Life is too short to dance to somebody else's tune. Do me a favour.
Go on.
Right? This that you've set up here where you're speaking to other presenters, your audience are going to want to hear from you and your story. So whenever you conclude this, whether it's episode 10, 15, whatever it is, after you've spoken to a lot of presenters, I'll sit in that chair.
Yes, sir.
You sit in this chair.
Yeah.
And I'll interview you.
Deal.
Done?
Deal. That would be an interesting story.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You put the cherry on top of your season there, mate, by being the last one
Episode
in this.
10. Episode 10.
Okay,
Adam
cool.
Catterall sitting here. Ade Oladipo sitting there.
There you go.
Thank you very much. There you go, guys. Thank you very, very much. I don't need to do this, but this guy does have one of the best boxing and MMA YouTube podcasts called Fight Disciples. I know you guys.
We didn't even
probably
talk
know.
about Fight
You know, we
Disciples,
didn't have
did
a
we?
chance to talk about it. You guys know it. If you don't know it, I'll put the link to his channel in the description. Go and subscribe to it. If you haven't already, it's a fantastic content. Him and the great Nick Pete. Both of these guys say the fuck what they want without any
Well, there's a lot of repercussions, but yeah, we just
a few
crack on.
repercussions, but none that we know of. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. More content like this coming your way very, very soon.